everybody. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a birdhouse design that is kind of like a wintry, really snowy birdhouse, and it's got just a really pretty little red and black and white bird on top of it, and it's got some holly around the opening of the birdhouse, and there's another special surprise because this little girly helped me do the voiceover in this video, and in her little help with her voiceover, she actually didn't say too much. At that time, she had just woken up from a nap, and she walked over to me, and I was working on my computer next to her, and she goes, "Mama, are we gonna do a voiceover?" And I said, "Sure." And so we did this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. She does do a little bit of like making noises throughout the video just because she was kind of working on waking up, so I think it's really funny, and I hope you guys get a kick out of it too, and I will see you next time. Bye! So I'm going to begin by creating an ombre of light blue to gray, and before we get too far into this video, I do have something to share with you. I have Melody here doing my voiceover with me. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Yeah, so if she has something good to say along the way, she has the go-ahead to say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I am encapsulating the nail with some clear acrylic to make sure it is nice and strong. What colors did I use, honey? Use blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then file the nail into shape with your E-file. Nice and quick, make sure it's nice and smooth. And now we're going to be sculpting the base of our birdhouse with some brown acrylic. So the first shape we're going to be making is your very basic house shape, pointy on the top, straight sides along the sides and the bottom. And so I'm just using a very thin layer of brown acrylic so that it doesn't, create too much of a bulk on the nail all over, because there's going to be a couple layers on top of this. So just kind of work with your acrylic, push it up the sides, go down along the bottom, kind of tuck it in where you need to. If you wanted to, if you're worried about your acrylic staining your background since it's pretty light, you could always go through and apply some gel sealer over the top instead, or not instead, but before you do this sculpting. So then after we have those sides of the birdhouse done, we're going to start sculpting just the base of the roof. So you can see it's just a nice straight line. That one do make a little thicker. And as I said, if you're worried about that staining problem, as you can see, I do have a little bit of staining happening on the nail itself. Then you can either clean that up beforehand or afterwards with some monomer. So you can see I'm kind of just brushing it. Or you can just, say, it is what it is, if that happens. The other thing you can do, which I sometimes do off camera, is I just take a hand file and I just run it across it once or twice, and it cleans that little staining up really, really fast. So we're also going to create that thicker layer on the bottom. And then with a lighter shade of brown, we're going to be adding layers of the wood planks. So this is a very, very pale brown, almost like a fleshy type color. And I'm just going to apply a thin layer of that in stripes across my birdhouse. And then before that acrylic sets up too much, I'm going to take a dotting tool, and I'm going to make some swirls through it. And then again with my dotting tool, I'm going to carve a little bit of a hole in the base of my brown acrylic for where the entrance to the birdhouse is. And now we're going to do another layer of those wood planks. And we're going to do the second one down below. Same thing, kind of carve it away for the entrance to the birdhouse. And then still using that dotting tool, just sort of mess up the acrylic. You want it to be kind of like a rough, weathered texture. And then do just a little bit more and fill this in. And like I said, the acrylic is fairly wet. So I always almost get it to like a paint consistency or very, very thin consistency. Are you still sleepy, Pumpkin?
No.
No, she just woke up from a nap, so she's not really too talkative right now. And then we're going to swirl those around a little bit more and fill it in all the way up to the top of the birdhouse. And then once you have all of those done, you can add a little bit of that texture to the roof and the base of the birdhouse as well. Obviously, those are very thin pieces as far as the front of them goes, so you can't really add too much, but if you want to, you can add a little bit. So now above the little door to my birdhouse, that little circle door, I'm going to be doing 2 holly leaves. So I've got a really nice green acrylic that's very bright. I didn't want the green to be too dark here because it would just kind of blend in with the brown background. So if it's a really nice bright green, it really shows up well against the background of the house. And then some black inside the hole of my birdhouse. And then we're going to go through with some red and add a couple little holly berries. Sculpting holly is one of my favorite things, so you guys get to see me do it a couple times every single year. But now I'm going to be making my bird with red, white, black, and a touch of gold for the beak. So I'm going to start with the body of my bird with the red acrylic, and then I'm going to do the tail of the bird with some black. This is another issue with the staining because both red and black are notorious for staining the background colors. So this definitely would have been a case where I should have applied some gel sealer in the background, but we live and learn. And then a little bit of brown acrylic to the top of my little bird. And then some white right by the bird's butt. So we're just going to blend that down into a little bit. And then also some white for the bird's wing. Can you see that it's turning into a bird, Melody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it really cute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you, honey bun. So then we've got that wing there going on. And then, like I said, a touch of gold for the bird's beak. And that beak really actually shows up really nicely since it's that metallic gold. And then with some more white acrylic, we're going to be adding a bit of snow to our birdhouse. I went back and forth whether I thought snow would look good or if it would just become too busy. And I'm glad I added the snow because it adds just another wintry touch to this design. So a little bit on the roof and then right on the bottom of the floor of the birdhouse and then in the window or in the doorway. And then with some white paint, we're going to be adding some highlights to our snow and just some finer details all around. Some little red. That's me. That's my hand. And then some black outlines here and there wherever they're needed. Are you starting to wake up a little bit? And so we're going to be doing all those little black outlines wherever we think they're necessary. Some details on our bird. There's not really too much detail yet, so adding some highlights. And for the highlights on your bird, like on the chest, as you can see, I used almost like a dotting motion. That makes it look a little bit feathery. We need an eye on our birdie because the bird needs to see, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a little bit of a highlight on our holly leaves to make those a little brighter because even though I used a fairly bright shade of green, it's still blended into the background. And then we're going to be making this a snowy day with a bunch of little white polka dots for snow in the background. So it looks like it's really starting to come down with a vengeance. And then apply a layer of gel sealer over the background if you didn't do it beforehand. And then some matte top coat over your birdhouse and your little birdie. And this nail is all done. Miss Melody here really loves birds, don't you, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a big fan of birds of almost any variety. So this design was partially for her because I knew she would like it. And I'm so glad you decided to join me for this voiceover. I'm surprised you didn't talk the whole time. Usually she's quite the chatterbox. Like I said, I hope you guys love this design as much as we do. And please don't forget to share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. And I'll see you next time. Bye.